Magan's Fair is a short film getting plenty of awards at festivals around the country right now, and it just played at the MSP Festival as well. It is a 26-minute short, and it is starring an Oscar-nominated Twin Cities actor named Barkhad Abdi, who most people would recognize opposite of Tom Hanks in Captain Phillips, who was amazing in that. But this is a short film, and it shows the compassion of a rideshare driver who is stressed out of his eyeballs when a random passenger challenges the grit of his spirit. I love this film. I loved it. I don't watch a lot of shorts. I'm a news guy, right?
Right.
So I don't really get around to watching short films. But you have to pack and concentrate in your story and your element of plot development very quickly. I thought that this film was a masterclass in combining music, tone, and plot development in a very short time to show how benevolent someone's soul can be. Well, how do you react when everything is going against you? In the most real life of stories, right? There's nothing very dramatic about this. One could see this happening in any city in America. And I thought it was very powerful and incredibly effective in what they were trying to do.
I did want to mention also the passenger, who I was very, felt like I recognized her from somewhere, and looked into it, and sure enough, she's the face from Blade Runner, who's on the geisha who's on the screen.
No
That
way.
famous image from Blade Runner.
That's her?
That's her. Yeah, that was like one of her first roles in Hollywood, and I was like, where am I seeing her? And she's older
She's
now, obviously.
amazing, by the way.
Yeah, and she's great. She's great in this. But
She terrified me when she was screaming in the back of the car.
yeah, she's a very good actress, and clearly has more of a role here than just a face on a screen. But if you've ever seen Blade Runner, you've seen this actress before.
Very cool. So we love the film. We had the opportunity to speak with Barkhad and the writer-director couple, Dana White and Chris Knobloch. Here's our talk.
I just want to find out, Dana, where did the idea of this script come from? How'd you come up with it?
So when, Chris and I were really wanting to do films that dealt with older adults, and the fact that there's a lot of abuse. So Chris and I really decided we wanted to make a series of films on things called patient dumping, which is when facilities will actually get rid of older adults from places for various reasons. And they're called involuntary discharges. Some of them are legal, some of them are not. And so we made one film called Involuntary, and then we came up with this idea for the second film. Chris and I sat down and said, okay, if we're going to make this movie, there's only one way we'll make it, and that's if we can get Barkhad Abdi. And we didn't know him, so we didn't really know what to do. And so then I said, well, I'm just going to write it around him. So then I finished the script, and we connected with a casting director. And I said, okay, but there's one prerequisite. And she said, what's that? And I said, you need to get me Barkhad Abdi. And she said, okay, I'll do my best. And then she happened to know his agent. And I guess Donna sent it to you, right?
So, yeah, Donna sent it to me, and that's what he said. Like, yeah, she wrote it for you. And, once I read it, I really fell in love with the screenplay, and it was really a good story, and it touched me,
How about the fact that she wrote it for you without ever even knowing you? It's
an honor, honestly. But, when I read it, I kind of felt it. It's crazy.
Was it, so in the script, the entire idea was a Somali driver with like a Cambodian or Hmong passenger? Was that all built in, the cultural aspects of that built in?
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do, and so we, obviously we wanted Barkhad, and then we decided we wanted the other character to be Cambodian. So yeah.
What's the difference, in your opinion, writing, producing, and directing a short, and what are the challenges of that versus like a feature-length film?
Well, every minute, every second, every frame really matters. You really have to kind of get it right. And the story needs to kind of be really kind of dense. It needs to move, and it needs to be put together really well. It needs to be really compelling, So that's the big challenge. That's what the novelists say about writing a short story is it's almost more challenging than writing a novel.
We really wanted there to be a sense of that, a sense of hope at the end. I think that was really important to us. and this idea that Magan is he's such a hero, he's just such a hero in this, and he's really all of us. Magan is all of us in so many ways, and that we all can do better, and Magan does, right?
Yes.
Magan does.
Yes, you all can do better, for sure.
What has been touring the movie been like? How's it been received?
We premiered at Raindance in London. We got nominated. The audiences loved the film. What I love the most is when somebody comes up and says, "I don't know exactly why I really love this movie, but I really do." We won St. Louis, which was an Oscar qualifying film festival, which is really exciting. Magan, the rideshare driver, he is just under constant mounting pressure that just keeps circling back on itself, and he's kind of saddled with all of these things. So was really kind of baked into the whole recipe.
And it's like mundane pressures
Right.
that people overlook, but when you watch it, you just go, oh.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. I wonder too, because we've talked to, when we screen and this film really gets inside people's heads in a good way. And we've had people say, man, like, I totally understand that. I understand that feeling. And I think because it's so universal, right, that I think it helps people really understand and identify with Magan, I think.
I'll just leave you with this. What do you hope people take away from the film?
I hope people and understand Magan's story, and Magan's, like you said, it's in all of us, and if we all become nice to each other, we might create a better world.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
Couldn't have said it better.
So sorry to tell you this, but Magan's Fair is not yet available to stream. So we're talking about a movie that you probably can't see just yet. However, Chris and Dana say it might get a platform in the coming months so you can watch it. And even better news is that, as you pointed out, Brian, they are seeking and getting some funding right now to potentially make this a feature-length film. There are plenty of avenues that we want to explore with these characters. We'll be right back to talk about an epic movie, Thief.